Hey, what's up, Silas here. I'm going to talk to you guys about this one part that was in my New Year's message. It was I'm talking to you here from the future because I was in Nairobi and a lot of my friends are in the United States of America, so you're talking about the time difference. But I have some good news and some bad news from the future. Donald J. Trump is still the President of the United States of America. People are mostly one of the two different genders. Some people still dislike you and others like you. Not everyone gets what they deserve. CNN is still mostly not fake news. It's still the current year, and people will continue to complain about places being worse than others, yet remain in said places. I'm going to focus on the different things happen for the same reason part with the Donald J. Trump thing. He is still the President of the United States of America, whether you are an American citizen. If you are, he is your president. If you're not, in the rest of the world, you recognize the United States of America as a country, and Donald J. Trump is the president of that place. So why I'm saying this, the different things happen for the same reasons, is he is the president, but some people are very happy about that, and some people are very sad about that. Yet they're still benefiting from this happiness and sadness. I'm going to kind of describe what happens here. So, right now, the current thing, since in this current year, since the Russia narrative has kind of crumbled, now they're going on to the whole Donald Trump is mentally incapable. And this is what I'm talking about with the fake news thing. CNN is still mostly not fake news. In that, what I meant with that, from the good and the bad, is the fact that most of the coverage is relatively actual news, factual news. They're not really giving opinion pieces. Like they could just say a tree is stuck in this. I mean, a cat is stuck in this tree. They'll cover stories like that. They'll just cover your basic stories. So most people will see those basic stories, and they'll be lulled into a false sense of credibility by just being able to blank out on all the actual fake news that there's actually there. So, how much actual fake news does it need to overcome all the actual real reporting that they're doing there? So, now this whole narrative of him being crazy. Some people are talking about this, and I'm wondering, why are people thinking about this? This is one of the facetious things I was saying. It's like you need to just admit that the political parties in the United States of America are so inept that they cannot field one candidate capable of beating a blithering, insane, despotic idiot. All the concentrated local forces in the United States of America could not undermine a once floundering foreign entity's ability to use a fraction of what they spent on total advertising, but focusing this fraction, this tens of millions or something, on a social media platform that was invented in the United States of America, housed in the United States of America, but they found a way to collude with this imbecilic candidate. And this went on under the most immaculate and excellently scandal free administration of the most competent and well spoken president ever, one benevolent Barack Hussein, hashtag always our not at all token black president. So you need to let that go. You need to realize that 45 is a loon. He's a danger to everyone in the world, including himself. So we need to impeach him. So that's the kind of thing that I'm thinking that's going on here when people are saying he's insane. I'm like, is this what people believe? But people are just going out there. And as I said before, they literally mean figuratively. Sometimes these people aren't literally meaning what they say. When they say he's insane, they're just bringing that up so they can have a reason to follow the impeach thing or to just enjoy this. And why am I saying the enjoying thing? Now, recently, he had a falling out with Steve Bannon, who was an advisor for a while. Steve Bannon just stepped down from being one of the editors of Breitbart.com, which is a news agency and website. But he was involved in the Trump cabinet for a while, and he came out very despised by most of the people on the left. Nancy Pelosi calling him a white supremacist. So they're saying you shouldn't believe anything this guy says. This guy is insane. This guy is crazy. This is not a good guy to follow. But now it turns out that Steve Bannon talked to a reporter and said that the meeting between Donald J. Trump Jr. and the Russian reporters was actually a form of treason. Now people on the left are like, yeah, see what Steve Bannon is saying. So yes, white supremacist, now we're going to support him because he's saying things positive to me. Another thing is Donald J. Trump with his nicknames. The guy never came out and he called him Sloppy Steve. And so people are jumping onto this Sloppy Steve nickname. And that's the thing. People like Trump. I mean, at least they enjoy Trump. You can enjoy Trump whether you support him or you don't, because he just brings this political theater. He brings these nicknames. His ability to just bring out a nickname and stick it to somebody. Steve Bannon had been had discussed some sloppiness of Steve Bannon. He has this thing of actually wearing two button-up shirts, two collared shirts under, and then they say something about his complexion and things like that, and people have talked about that in different news stories, saying, oh, it's unfair how this news is covering. So that's a known thing, but Trump has that ability of just pointing out something that's out there and poking it out, pointing it out, and people jumping onto it. So it's kind of cool to see people on the left jumping onto the sloppy Steve name that he does, because Trump has changed a lot in the United States of America, including this. So another thing with Trump is he posted something about how he won the presidency on the first try. I keep laughing because I'm just thinking about the things that he does and then the effect that comes up after it. So people come out to say it wasn't the first try. He ran as he had a candidacy for the Reform Party back in 2000, in the year 2000, with Roger Stone as his political advisor at that point. And people are pointing out that, look, that's actually a run. That counts as a presidency run. I'm like, no. If that's the case, do you think Hillary Clinton has lost two presidential elections or one presidential election? To me, this is like playing in a playoff. Playing in like any professional sport that has a playoff. You have the season, and then once you get to the season, you're playing in the season to get a good enough record to qualify for the playoffs. Now, when you get in the playoffs, let's say there's divisions, you try to win enough to be the representative of your division that then gets to play in the final tournament, in the final brackets for the actual championship. So, for example, with the Super Bowl in the American Football League, unless you actually make it to the Super Bowl, to the final Super Bowl match, you don't lose the Super Bowl. You haven't lost the Super Bowl. You haven't played for the Super Bowl. If you lose in the wild card round, if you lose in the conference championship round, if you lose in the divisional round, you have not lost the championship. You have not lost the Super Bowl. You had a chance to play for the Super Bowl, just like everybody at the start of the year. That's the end goal. If you're going to declare, I'm going to attempt to be a president this year, then yes. And then now they had this tweet coming out. I don't think they actually tweeted this because it was like the exact same text. I could check. But the different presidents, I think it was Bill Clinton, Barack Obama, and I think even Bush. They said, okay, I won 42nd, I won 43rd, I won 43rd, I won 44th, and I won 42nd president on my first try. Now, when you have something like that and people pointing out, oh, look, this was happening with them. But first of all, isn't that whataboutism? That's what I was talking about. This whole whataboutism is going to fail because they brought it out. Now, every time Trump says something and people say, oh, well, this happened too. How about when you said this? People can just turn around and say, that's whataboutism. I don't care what you're saying. But when it comes to this actual situation, these people were politicians as well. Now, this is going to go back to the thing where people are going to go back and look. Okay, you're pointing out these people did this, but they ran for political office before. Donald J. Trump hasn't run for political office. Now you're bringing these people back into the actual fray. You're bringing them back into the actual political talk. You're saying that when something happens with Trump and somebody points out, oh, well, when this happened with Bill Clinton, how come you guys didn't do this? When it happened with Obama, how come you guys didn't do this? When it happened with Bush, how come it wasn't treated this way? When people do that, you say that's whataboutism. But if Donald J. Trump points out something about himself and then you guys go out and point out, oh, these presidents did it too, then that's bringing it back into the game. That's showing the inconsistency on your part. That's showing the hypocrisy of these people. Now, moving on to the next to this whole first time thing, we're going to move on to Oprah and The Rock running. First of all, people were talking about The Rock, Rocky Maivia, Dwayne Johnson, started in Miami football, son of a WWE, WWF at the time, a wrestling superstar. And then he came out through wrestling and now he's been filmed and he's a very personable guy. He seems to be a great guy. And a lot of people just kind of talking about it. I think he had a Saturday Night Live kind of skit on him running, but people are talking about it more seriously. And I would like these people to run, but this is another positive Donald J. Trump. I think this is the good news and the bad news. It's good. He's come out in this way, and he's trailblazed for a lot of more exciting things to come into politics. I think The Rock running with Oprah would be amazing if it actually happened. Now with Oprah, she actually had this speech at the Golden Globes that just passed. I think it was 2 days ago or last night or something. This is on the 10th of January 2018. They- Oprah had this speech at the Golden Globes, and she was like, "It's a new day," talking about the whole Me Too thing with sexual assault allegations going out in Hollywood, and just in, I don't say just Hollywood, it's in the social sphere in the United States of America, the ongoing exposition or exposing of a lot of sexual indecency going on in these high level places. But she's talking about it's a new day, and I was just thinking about the New Day from WWE. I'm going to leave a link below to these guys. These guys are clowns. But this video in the New Day, I'm thinking that's kind of the similar thing that would go on if you had someone like The Rock or Oprah running. It would be taken off like you see this New Day video I'm going to show you. It's them going to, I think, somewhere in the country, in flyover country, and they're talking about country music, how it's garbage. But the whole way that it's put on, people kind of understand this is a show. We're coming to watch this show. We're kind of into it. They're kind of teasing us. They're back and forth. We're not completely feeling it. We're not buying it completely. I think that's how this whole thing would be if they ran. It would just be an entire show where some people would get it, but one of the cool things I'm seeing with this is that people are just outright saying, yes, The Rock has my vote. Oprah has my vote. And this is the good thing for me. I like honesty. I like people just coming out and exposing the way they truly think. People are showing that they don't really give two damns about actual policy. People are ready to say, yes, I'll vote for her. If Oprah has good policies, she should have your vote. But people don't vote on policy, and people just coming out and saying, yes, Oprah, anyone's better than Trump, let's just put anyone in there. That just shows this. These are the same people who are saying, yes, this person's insane. These are the same people who are going back in the past and saying, Oprah had no, Trump had no experience. Trump was a reality star. Now people are saying, well, Trump started it, so Trump opened the door for it, so now we can have a reality star and Oprah in there. So yes, more power to you. I really do hope Oprah runs. It would be magnificent if Oprah runs. So coming back to this thing, just the insanity thing. That's one thing that's really shocking to me. For the people who actually truly believe this and aren't just going along caught up in the whole idea where politically they want to do this so they can find any way to impeach this. People want him out. I don't think he's going to get out. I think he's going to get 2020 as well. Trump 2020. My boy Newt, Team Newt, he says it in the greatest way. Trump 2020. There's a certain way he says it. His accent. And, I don't know. Anyway, back to the video. I really hope she runs. But people who actually think he's insane. One thing that's weird about this is why I'm saying it's good news for some people who hate Trump, yet he's still president. Why it's good for them. It's a bad thing that he's president, they say, but it's good for them that he's president. Because they get to continue walking around thinking that they are somehow better than the rest of the people in the world. They think that, yes, this man is insane, but most of the people in the United States of America, the Trump supporters in the world, people like me see him, and we are somehow incapable of seeing that this person is insane. They somehow have higher faculties of awareness where they can be like, yes, I actually know, and I've actually seen this person insane. These other people can't, but it makes them feel better that they have this ability over people. It's really strange to me what they must think about other people, must think about people around them. And as I opened up with that thing in the start, they must have a really twisted idea of their leadership and just the rest of the world to think that somebody insane, somebody with the intelligence of a grade schooler, as they say, can achieve what he's achieved. And all these people trying to stop him could not overcome that. So maybe if they think the world is that way, then if they're not really achieving in a point, they can maybe convince themselves and say that, hey, maybe if I just try a bit harder, since I'm not insane, since I don't have the intellect of an 8-year-old, I can achieve everything. Maybe that's their form of their American dream. Because I know I'm not really going to consider myself one of the higher intelligence people. I try to surround myself with people who are smarter than me. That's been an actual concerted effort that I've put out in my life, even though I'm not saying that's going to be a very hard thing to do since I don't really consider myself that high of an IQ. Haven't checked my IQ, but I think I'm very inquisitive. I try to be consistent on certain things, and I've surrounded myself with people like this who I think challenge me on a daily basis, and I know from that point of view, from what I've done in my life, I can see Donald J. Trump, and even if I didn't like him, like before he was running for president, I was like, this guy's, what, you mean the billionaire guy, the guy who runs the TV show, who does this and this, that clown, like he's running for president? I thought it was a joke that he was running, but I didn't get to the point where I'm like, oh, he doesn't really want to run, or he's not really capable of doing this. I was just like, he's not qualified, or is this serious? But I never actually thought he was incapable. He was insane. I at least had the awareness to understand that this man is a capable man. And what I'm saying with this is, why are people reaching out to this insanity thing, incapability thing? Because look, if I went out and you played a one-on-one match, a one-on-one basketball game against LeBron James, and you lost, there's nothing to be ashamed about there. If you lost, if let's say I decided to play against just some 6'2", 6'11", 20-year-old that hasn't played much, but he's a good athlete. Maybe he plays football. He can jump out of the stadium. He can touch the rim just like with a small little hop. He's in very good shape. He runs a lot. He exercises. If I lose to him, then I say, okay, that's still not really that big of a deal. But now, if I end up losing to some 10-year-old that's like 4'5", overweight, never really works out, just sits and watches TV and plays video games. If I end up losing in a basketball match to that person, now that's very questionable about me personally. So, if people are saying that, yes, Donald J. Trump is this 10-year-old, this incompetent 10-year-old, yet Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, the current people in there right now, the news media, the people researching him in the Mueller thing, all these people, all these things against him somehow can't actually find some fault in him enough to remove him in there. They couldn't find a way to actually stop him before he actually got in. What are they saying about these people? What are they saying about the people that actually support him? So I think you guys should think better of United States of America, of your fellow Americans. I know you might not necessarily feel that they are your fellow Americans, just how some people on the right might feel that the people on the left haven't qualified what they need to do to be an American. So there may be that kind of situation where you feel, okay, that's not the kind of situation. But I have in general, I have more faith in the whole human condition, in human society, that I think better about people, that people would be able to understand and identify such an obvious galoot, such an obvious imbecile, if he was that. And a lot of people are going to look back at this past year that happened and be rather embarrassed, and a lot of people are actually going to add more over this year and probably all the way through 2024 to be more embarrassed about in the future. And a few of those people will never be embarrassed. They'll just never really realize that Donald J. Trump is probably the God, Emperor, and greatest president of the United States of America so far, and also a really stable, smart, genius guy. Like, share, and subscribe. Links below to the merchandise store. Hopefully you guys are having a great new year. Mine's been topsy-turvy. Today is my nephew's birthday, so awesome day. More coming soon. Thank you guys for listening. Goodbye.